Always keep learning, it's the only way to stay engaged. As a long-time guitar teacher, I may once have looked at it from the perspective that I knew about my subject, but people who came to me for lessons didn't. That's no longer the case. There's a lot of detective work needed to understand things about the people who come to you to learn. It's very much a two-way interaction. We can both learn from each other. I started posting guitar tuition videos 2 years ago. Here are 10 lessons I learned in 2024. Number 1, we can be very territorial about gear. We've all got our favourites, the things that we know about, the things we've used for a long time. I ventured into gear reviews this year as a way to stay informed, interested and try new things. I had favourite things and I still do, but now I've added to my apps, tuners, pedals, capos, etc. and feel much more engaged. It's given me a thirst to learn even more. The conversations, the review videos kicked off in the community has been really interesting and inspiring, and it's left me with a thirst to want to learn more about new things other than just sticking to what I know already, unless it's indisputably the best. Number 2, learn from everyone. I have learned lessons from people at all stages of guitar playing. This is good to remember because it keeps me humble and curious. It's impossible to know everything. I have played guitar consistently since 1995 and only learned in 2024 that the length of a neck determines how easy it is to bend a string, and that the radius fit of a capo on the fretboard determines how effective it is. Number 3, most people are good-natured. It took me a long time to pluck up the courage to record guitar lesson videos on YouTube. I had a real recoil about it. I'm a little bit of a creative introvert. I love working away on things in a little room, getting good at it, putting things together, love sharing things, love learning from people. But I had a real fear about negative feedback. What if I got negative feedback? Overlooking the fact that I've been playing guitar for a long time, I've got loads of experience, I've been teaching for a long time. What if I got negative feedback? Then after a short conversation, I made a video. What I now know is most people are good-natured. If somebody disagrees with me or has added information from a different perspective, they will share their opinion. This is great. This is useful. We can get into a conversation and we can all learn from it. Perfect. The conversation is there to be had, and people observing that can then go and make their own minds up. We're all a little bit different. Which brings me to number 4, negative feedback. People who take the precious time in their day to leave a comment saying something is rubbish or being offensive, in my world of teaching guitar, is rare. On the occasions this has happened, those people rarely come back for a conversation to explore why or explain their point of view further. So there's no point of learning. They tend to be a dead-end comment with a little tumbleweed to follow. Due to my outlook, these opinions should offer something useful at least, so we can all learn from them. If there is no further engagement here, to me, the original negative comment is a waste of time. I now have no fear of negative comments. Number 5, the simplest things often have the biggest impact. The lower and more central you hold your thumb at the back of the neck, the wider you can stretch your fingers at the front on the fretboard. Chords are made up of scales. Count while you're strumming to hammer home the rhythm. These are 3 very simple concepts that have been points of revelation for some of my students this year. Always take time to go over the fundamentals. Number 6. A lot of teachers go too fast. I hear this from students a lot who've booked one-to-one lessons with me after getting to know my video tutorials, and it reminds me to stay slow when I'm describing things, even if it feels repetitive. It's easy to think some descriptions are too basic and to speed past them. Not so. If somebody knows what you're talking about in a video, they can skip past it. If they don't know, it will be the difference of how that concept lands and could be their light bulb moment. Number 7. I've heard this from a few students now. A lot of online teachers don't describe which fingers to use on the fretting hand and assume that because it's a video, people can see this. Not everybody has perfect sight. or even sight at all, so they're relying on the audio description. If this information is omitted by a teacher, that student then has to fill in the gaps. It sounds very simple, but it was a real revelation to me when it was brought to my attention. Number 8, how inflammatory capos can be in the guitarist community. I have used capos for a long time. I see them as a tool, much like I see a pick as a tool. They are something to be used or not used, depending on the voicing, texture, key of a song. I came across the opinion this year that it's more noble and a symbol of capability to use bar chords instead of a capo. The attitude exists that playing bar chords is a reflection of how good you are and that using a capo is cheating. Yes, conquering bar chords is a rite of passage and it's an excellent sign of development, but to know when to use a capo is a further elevation of your playing ability and maturity. Number 9, consultations and feedback. Most students that have come to me for private lessons through YouTube self-learn from a variety of tutors online. What they want from me is a check-in, confirmation that what they're doing is right, constructive feedback, someone to bounce concepts off and ask questions to, so they can clarify what information they've picked up on that week. Number 10, the easiest students to work with are those that are interested. I have known this for a long time, but it never stops hitting home. Those lessons are effortless, time flies. It is genuinely more like a balanced interaction between two people who have a common interest than it is a student-teacher situation. This lesson covers 5 of the most common guitar student questions. See you next time.